Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Raw Daddy Hour, hosted by yours truly, Raw Daddy himself. This is your grandmama's favorite podcast. If she's tuning in, why aren't you? And today, I am joined to my left by Miss Allie Marie and Miss Crystal Flores. Allie, let's tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Allie, and I'm a personal trainer and also a nurse. So I know today we're talking about health is wealth, so I'm super excited to go ahead and just share my journey and how everything has just kind of helped me get me to where I am.
Hi, I'm Crystal. I am a personal trainer, a CrossFit coach, and a yoga instructor. So I kind of dabble in several different things involving fitness. And so I'm just going to give my perspective on how everything makes you healthy, not just one piece.
Perfect. So yes, today we are talking about how health is the true wealth and how all of us should likely be trying to pursue some level of physical fitness. So Allie, I want to kick it to you first. How did you get into personal training? So you said you're also a nurse, and I know that's where you started. What kind of got you into the personal training aspect of it?
So it all started back when I was in high school, and I decided to start powerlifting, and it was like, it kind of took off from there. I found it was my passion, and that's honestly where I kind of figured out how to have confidence in myself and just really owning who I am and really building myself up. And so from there, I competed in Olympic weightlifting and then started coaching kids for strength and conditioning. And then, it's just just grown from there. And so now moving to Houston, I got an amazing opportunity to personal train, and I was like, this is perfect. This is for me. So here I am now.
So Crystal, what got you into the industry?
Mine's a little long, but I started out working in an office with kids who had behavioral issues, and I kind of noticed that physical activity was the best outlet to help them cope with their issues. And I did not want to sit in an office. So I was like, what can I do that allows me to get people active and I'm not sitting behind a desk 9 to 5? So I changed my entire career path to personal training when I realized my passion was not office work.
Does anyone really have a passion for office work? That's an honest question. But Crystal, I want to kick it to you first. So what do you feel is the biggest benefit for people pursuing a healthy lifestyle?
I'm going to say probably overall mood, even though everything is improving, your sleep, your physical appearance, your strength, your performance, you just have better, you wake up feeling better. You feel better when you are moving. You aren't miserable, I guess, is what I would think. And so even though there's all those other things that are feeling great, the way you feel when you're healthy, it's just there's nothing better.
Yeah. And Allie, what would you say to people who need that push to take that first step, that kind of look at a gym or a physical environment and get intimidated, someone who isn't ready to really own themselves just yet? What would you say to them?
I would say that they're not alone. So many people struggle with that. And so I just tell them, it's a journey, it's a process. And so for some of my clients, we'll go ahead and start home workouts, and we'll start kind of building them up. I've been working with one client for a month now, and she got her gym membership yesterday. Woo-hoo! So excited. So we're building, we're growing. And I would just tell them, take it one step at a time. And this is a journey for you. Everybody in there they're all trying to become better. We're all in the same place, so don't think that you're alone. This is just the process, and you're going to see the growth and then build confidence and everything. So
I totally agree. One of the things that I used to harp on with people when I was training was, to me, I would always push the feeling that you get from being healthier. I never really cared about physical appearance because we're all going to look how we're going to look. We have genetic potential, and you can tap into that if you want to, and you can max out if you want to. But at the end of the day, I'm here to be healthy for a long time, right? And that means consistency, day by day, doing what I'm supposed to do, doing what we know we're supposed to do. That way you can feel good, right? I want to feel good if I were to have a child and they want me to run around on the basketball court with them. I want to know that I can do that at a moment's notice, not that I have to go train for 6 months just to go play with my 11-year-old. You know what I mean? So I do totally agree that the biggest benefit for people wanting to get into that healthy lifestyle is most definitely the feeling that you get, being able to move properly and not being uncomfortable in day-to-day life. Allie, I want to talk to you on the medical side of things. Could you speak a little bit on what happens when people aren't taking care of their health, when they do neglect those things as they start to get older?
So I think that's honestly like the best question. We're in a pandemic right now, you know. Coronavirus has definitely taken a toll on so many people. I actually work with COVID patients. And so now so many of my patients are realizing, they're like, oh my gosh, I need to start taking care of myself now. And I'm like, okay, but look at where you're at now. If you would have decided to take care of yourself back in the day, you wouldn't be in the predicament that you are now. There's so many people that have other comorbidities that they're facing that are causing this. It's diabetes that are coming from eating way too many carbs, way too many sugars and things like that, obesity. I mean, there's just so many things that play into whole health. It's not just how you look and stuff like that. It's what you're putting in your body. It's what you're feeding yourself. And so I think that just plays a huge factor. And so from a medical standpoint, it's just stop thinking that you need to wait until you're at a certain point to start taking care of yourself. Start now.
And that leads me to Miss Crystal. I know you're going through a nutrition certification right now. I want you to kind of speak to, in my opinion, the easiest thing that you can do to get started changing your nutritional habits and how important that is for the overall fitness goals.
The easiest thing I would say is drinking water. Like adding water into your daily life. Some people might just have one drink one time in the day and then not even remember that they haven't had water, or they'll drink a coffee in the morning and then follow that with soda for lunch or something. And then when did you drink water? That alone, like first thing in the morning, drink some water, adding it in throughout the rest of the day, you're already changing one tiny habit in your nutrition.
And I like that, habits. I think one of the biggest things that people can do is start to add habits before they try to remove habits. So I think it's a lot easier to try and go to the gym one time per week than it would be to try to cancel those plans that you have every other weekend with your buddies to go out. Over time, that will start to change, but it's a lot easier to, like you said, add water than to try to take away coffee. Right? I think a lot of people, they get really caught up when they say, okay, you get your disease or whatever, and you're like, oh, now I'm just gonna cold turkey quit everything. I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking, I'm not gonna eat any more sugar. And what does that lead to? A crazy rebound. You know, you get to this point where it's like, all right, I cut everything out, but now I'm miserable. And the biggest thing that we harped on before is lifestyle. This should be a lifestyle. You should enjoy what you do. Now, occasionally we do have to, give up some things that we love, but you should overall still enjoy the quality of your life, right? Not just from a health standpoint, I genuinely want to eat sweet potato fries every now and again. Not every single time, but every now and again I do genuinely want to eat sweet potato fries because I know the benefits that those will give me over eating regular fries when I go out. So Allie, I want to ask you, how do you balance the lifestyles? So you said you started lifting and training when you were in high school. How were you able to balance keeping a healthy lifestyle and still having fun? Because I know you still like to enjoy the occasional drink. You want to go out and do all of that stuff. How do you balance it?
I think that comes into play with that kind of 80-20 rule. I'm pretty big on that because I've been through competing to where I've had to be super restricted. And so I've had to make this transition of understanding, and it's even taken me a long time. So people that do have a hard time now, you'll get there, I promise. But it's taken me time just to realize, okay, this is my life. This is not, eating so restricted is not going to, it may get me to a certain physique, but full health, and actually enjoying yourself and being with family and friends and going out for a drink, I've just had to kind of put it in a certain box and know that me eating one burger is not the end of the world. It's actually pretty amazing, So it's almost comes back just to mindset. And so if I follow 80% of my macros and go out for a drink and have dinner, obviously everything in moderation, I think, is where it gets us. Because a lot of people will go out to eat and we stuff our faces. It's like when you eat in moderation, and I think that's kind of where it all comes back to.
So Crystal, you kind of had you kind of did it a little different, where you started in bodybuilding, you competed, and now you've crossed over to CrossFit. Not a lot of people do that. It's either that they're competing fields, I guess you would say. What kind of led you to making that transition?
So, with regards to bodybuilding, you're I guess you're judged on solely what you look like. And so for me, although I was walking around with single digit body fat sometimes and six packs sometimes, what I was doing to my overall health was not healthy at all. You looked healthy, but you weren't healthy. Besides the fact that my metabolism was like completely screwed up, I had developed a little bit of a body dysmorphia, where even when I was looking normal body weight, I was miserable. I hated how I looked. I didn't want to see myself in the mirror. And CrossFit gyms don't have mirrors. And so one of the reasons I was able to like dive into exercise and just focus on exercise was because I didn't have to see what I looked like doing it. My focus stopped being on what am I going to look like because of this 60 minutes of exercise. It was, how much am I going to lift today? Or how fast am I going to finish this workout? And I needed to completely get out of that environment of aesthetic goals because my mind was so messed up from the bodybuilding lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, and that's very, I feel like motivations are very key, like what drives you to pursue your healthy lifestyle or to get in the gym, or you don't necessarily have to go to the gym per se, but I do believe motivations play a huge role in the longevity, your ability to do this for a long time. Say, for example, bodybuilding. Now, no shade against bodybuilding. There's nothing wrong with being a bodybuilder, but just know what comes with that. Right? There's a heavy mental toll when you've seen yourself at 5% body fat and now you idolize that specific physique. Another thing that plays into that is age. As you age and you get older, you can no longer reach those physique looks. So I think motivation is very key. What drives you to go to the gym? If it's to feel good, you can do that from 10 years old all the way up to 89. You know, you can adjust things, and like you said, you want to feel good in the gym. You don't want to be looking at mirrors and making sure that, oh, is my six pack right on this one? I don't have a fold right here. Like, that stuff doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, as we know. So Allie, I want to ask you, what is one actionable step that you could give someone to take today who's sitting on the couch or in their desk chair watching this, that they can start to do right now to start to see improvements in their overall health? One thing.
One thing? Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'm going to have to throw this one back to Crystal, because drinking the water, I love the simplicity of that, because like we said, it's not taking away from anything. It's a small step of just, I mean, water, that's what mostly our body's made up of, and it gives us energy, it hydrates us. I think that is the best step that you could take right now, sitting down. Put away the Coke, put away the lemonade, whatever you have, and go get a glass of water and drink it.
Not a jug.
I mean, you could get a jug. You know, I carry my jug around.
Get you 2 liters, people. So, Crystal, you work with a unique demographic of people in your personal training. You work with people with disabilities. How has that been for you, and what kind of drove you to go that path?
You know, how did I even start? I guess where I was working before, I was described as one of the more patient trainers, and I did work with children before that, so I guess that was what gave me that patience to like transfer into personal training. But actually, the client came to me and was like, I want you to train my daughter because I like the way you train. And so when I first started with her, it was like a whole new world of, oh my God, what do I need to do? I found myself going home and studying exercises and just figuring out how to tailor things so that this person can exercise. And what it really came down to was she just needs to learn how to live her life. And so it was no longer like, what exercise can I give her to make her like have stronger deltoids. It was, what can I help her do to make her life easier since she can't stand up and do things for herself? Like, how is she, what things does she need to accomplish that aren't like normal, or not normal, that's not the word I want to use. Like, we don't think about, oh, I need to get something off that shelf. Let me stand up, walk over, and go get it. And this, there's a population that cannot walk over and get something. And so we did lots of like task-oriented exercises, things like that. Like, I need you to go over there and get that dumbbell, but you're going to get it. I'm not going to get it for you. And things like that, that we're going to just transfer over into a more independent life for as she ages. Now, like, any disability, really, I'm not uncomfortable working with, because I know at the end of the day, we're all just trying to live a life. And so whether that be in a wheelchair or missing a limb, you're still going to have to go through the same things that I have to go through. You just have to approach them differently. And so that's how I approach adaptive clients.
Okay, nice. I really keyed in on one word that you use, which is patience. And I can attest, Crystal is an extremely patient trainer, boss, all of that. Allie, I want to ask, how much patience have you had to have, or maybe has it surprised you how much patience you've had to have while tracking someone else's goals? Because you can't get up and go to the gym for them. You can't get up and do these workouts for them. How has it been monitoring someone else's progress and kind of managing your expectations?
So I think as a coach, you always have to have and lay down kind of like your expectations of the client in the beginning. But through life, we all face things come up, maybe something's going on with your family and stuff like that. And because I've had to give myself grace and love, I'm able to like extend that to my clients and stuff like that, and kind of meet them at a different level, which I think really creates like a more personal connection. Like if clients have something going on, we'll talk about it. Maybe they're falling off on the nutrition. Okay, how can we go ahead and get you back? Let's look at this together. So whenever I say anything, I'm like, okay, how are we doing? How, they're not alone. It's not like, how are you doing? Like they're by themselves. Like, we're in this together. I'm here for you. That's why you chose me to be your your coach. So I just kind of look at it at a different aspect. But it does take some patience though, because they don't want to go and do their workouts. But I've always been able to kind of gear them back towards, okay, getting back and being motivated and wanting to track and be in the gym. So it does take some patience though.
No,
for
most
sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And Crystal, going back to your patience and your patience with your clients, let's talk a little bit about the mental side of training and of, I guess, our whole health journey in general. What kind of stands out to you as some of the obstacles that people go through mentally in terms of, getting to their particular goals?
The one thing that I would say across the board I notice is people don't know. Have you ever heard people don't know how good their bodies are supposed to feel? Like, they also underestimate how strong or what they can actually do. So as trainers, we pick weights for our clients, things like that. And I've had a lot of them like, oh no, that's too heavy, I can't do that. But have you tried? How do you know you can't do this if you've never done it? And a lot of clients that I've had, that has been their biggest mental obstacle, was believing in themselves when it comes to their actual abilities and what they think they can do, and then me just kind of helping them overcome that and showing them, look, you are this strong. Your body was made to move this thing. Now let's do it. So
that was probably my favorite. If I had to pick a favorite thing about training, it was proving to people or helping to enlighten them on just how amazing they were and how amazing the things that our body can do. Like you said, I do agree that a lot of people doubt themselves in the gym. Actually, studies do prove that majority of people do not push themselves hard enough in the gym. They don't understand what is hard enough to see the results that they want to see. And another big part of that is goal setting. I think people set very unrealistic goals. They want to get the six-pack in 2 weeks. That's not possible. They want a whole body transformation in 3 months. So, Allie, how do you help people set their goals? How do you help them manage their expectations of themselves? Because, of course, as trainers, we are gods. We can work magic And if we snap our fingers and you do 10 squats, you're good. So how do you help them manage that?
So whenever I bring a client on, I'll ask them kind of like what their goals are. And so most of the time what they tell me is building confidence, self-love, loving what they see in the mirror, and just actually embracing their bodies. So for instance, I just carried on a new client. And so one thing that we are doing is I told her every day I want her telling herself 3 positive things about herself. So she has to look in the mirror every morning and say either, something like, I am worthy, I love my body unconditionally, no matter how it looks or anything like that. And so that's one way. And then other ways that we extend goals is I try to keep it to where it's not based off of aesthetics. It's more off of energy. So like, how are you feeling? So let's say by the end of the week, I'm going to be feeling satisfied and full. I'm not going to be feeling depleted or anything. And my energy levels are going to be at least at a 7 or 8 after work. Not at a 3 like I'm dying, because that's how I know that your body's being fueled correctly, you're staying hydrated, and the workouts are doing what they're supposed to. So
Nice. I really like that. Because we do have to make sure that people are setting goals that they can actually achieve. I think one of the other things that's very underrated about the fitness journey is sleep. Probably the thing I suck at the most, if I'm going to be honest. And a lot of people neglect that, because I know from where we worked and where you're working at now too, there are a lot of people who live high stress lifestyles, and they live lifestyles where they are the boss and they constantly have to work. They constantly have to be on call. They have to make sure that this is getting done. They have to make sure that's getting done. And they neglect that sleep. So I would say, in addition to the water, I think sleep is probably the second thing that I would push for people to do. And like we said, add, not subtract. So let's try to add 1 more hour of sleep. Do you really need to work until 1 a.m.? Could that 1 hour that you're working from 12 to 1 be added to some other things? Could you sprinkle that within the day? Could you be a little bit more productive during your day? If you're drinking your water and you're at an energy level of 7, I'm pretty sure you could. It's probably because you're at a 3. That's why you can't do it. But now I want to kind of get into, Crystal, I want to talk to you about, we've talked about unrealistic goal setting and getting in the gym and thinking that it's just going to change overnight. Now I want to get into a little bit of unrealistic diets, right? And kind of how that affects the person's ability to have a longevity in the, healthy lifestyle realm. So kind of talk a little bit about dieting and how that should look. I don't even like the word dieting, to be honest. But yeah, let's kind of talk about diets and what things that we should look out for when we're pursuing health.
I would say with any diet, that word, with any diet, truthfully, you want to stay away from things that are too restrictive at the end of the day. Not because they don't, what is the word? They won't give you results, because they will, but they aren't going to be sustainable. They aren't realistic. They aren't long-term probably healthy if they're very restrictive. And so I would say stay away from those. You want to think of a diet as something that you can do for your rest of your life at the end of the day, because let's throw an actual diet, keto. So I'm not gonna, I don't judge keto versus paleo versus, they all work, but can I do keto for just 6 weeks till I see the results I want, or am I gonna be able to eat that way for the rest of my life? And if I'm not gonna do it. Once you stop any type of way of eating that you're following, your results kind of reverse. And so if it's not something that you can do, you should probably stay away from it. With regards to restrictive diets, what you talked about, like wanting the burger and things like that, then you have to deal with the guilt of having that burger because it doesn't fit in all the things that you're not supposed to be doing and stuff like that. Or you don't have room for those kind of things when you're extremely restricted. And so I would just say stay away from something that looks like there's not enough things going on in it.
Yeah, no, that's very true. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat. Like, there's a lot of ways to get healthy. There's a lot of different eating styles to get healthy. And I think I actually struggled with this when I first started, like, trying to gain weight because I grew up super skinny. And I was like, okay, what stuff can I eat? What stuff can I eat? And I hated it. I hated it so much. And I would always rebound. You know, I would always go back to that burger. I would always go back to drinking pop and all of that stuff because I just wanted it. You know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think a lot of people, when they first get started, they think there's something wrong with them for wanting a burger or wanting a steak or wanting to go to Texas Roadhouse. That's my place. But, you know, wanting to do those kinds of things, and there's nothing wrong with it. We used the word earlier, I'm not sure who said it, but moderation. I think it was you. Everything is fine in moderation. You know, of course, don't go every day, but if you've given your diet 85, 90% execution, that's still an A. You know what I mean? We all went to school. That's still an A-, and I would take that A. I'll take a C. You know, if you're giving your diet 80, 85% completion, that one steak is not going to do anything to you. You know, it's not going to mess up everything that you've put in. But people have that mindset sometimes, and like you said, it lasts 6 weeks, and then you go right back to where you were day one. So, one of the things I try to preach to people is a slow but for show approach. Right? Like we said, we're in this for a long time, and okay, you got started at 40, so it's going to take you a little while, you know, versus the person that started at 25. You're not going to look like them this year. It's okay. But are you going to be able to sustain this for a long period of time, right? Are you going to be the guy who's 80 years old, still in the gym, that I see every day, talking to me at the hot tub when I didn't ask for it, but he did it? You know what I mean? Are you going to be able to be that guy, though? Or are you the one that's in the nursing home that has to be wheeled around? You know, you choose the lifestyle that you want, and we need to choose it now. The earlier, the better. So let's end it off this way. I want you guys to give, and we'll start with you, Allie. I just want you to give one piece of advice that we have not shared today to the people sitting at home. They could be beginner, intermediate, advanced, doesn't matter. Just one piece of advice that you would give to the people about maintaining a nice, healthy, longevitous life.
I would just say to one, start now, but choose yourself. Set aside the complaints, set aside the excuses, stop choosing those excuses over choosing yourself and taking that time to invest in yourself. So choose you.
Mine would be for the ones who are struggling to start or don't have time. Move one time daily, even if it's just 5 minutes. You can scroll through the interwebs and do anything for 5 minutes. Go for a walk for 5 minutes. Do something, because eventually 5 minutes turns to 10, turns to 30, turns to an hour. When you start to realize how moving for even just a short period of time feels, you're going to continue to do it. But at least one time a day, make a goal to move, even if it's for a short period.
I love it. That's going to do it, guys, for another episode of the Raw Daddy Hour. I would like to thank my guests, Miss Allie Marie and Crystal Flores, for coming on, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.